In this lecture, we will discuss another very important poem written by John Keats, and the name of that poem is On First Looking into Chapman's Homer. So, on first looking into Chapman's Homer, it is a sonnet. Sonnet, sonnet is a poem of 14 lines, but it is a Petrarchan sonnet. Now, in a Petrarchan sonnet, the 14 lines are divided into two stanzas. The first stanza contains 8 lines and is called octave, and the next stanza contains 6 lines and is called sustate. So this poem, like a Petrarchan sonnet, is also divided into two stanzas. In the first stanza, there are 8 lines, and in the next stanza, there are 6 lines. The rhyme scheme of octave is fixed, ABBA, ABBA, but the rhyme scheme of sustate is not fixed. Now, in this poem, on first looking into Chapman's Homer, John Keats, he talks about the transformative power of literature. That if anybody reads a work of literature, so that person gets transferred. That person gets transferred where the place which he is reading. And this happens with us also. When we are reading a novel and we start visiting the place we are reading, we start enjoying the scenes there, we start enjoying the life there. So he talks about the transformative power of literature, that literature influences a reader a lot, and the reader gets lost in the world of the novel, in the world of drama, in the world of poetry. And he talks about transformative power of literature. He also talks about the influencing power of literature, that a literature influences a reader a lot. And that's why I have cleared you that John Keats, he talks about transformative power of literature, that literature facilitates travel through time and space. There's the word is and, not and. It's and space. Means we also visit the place. We visit different places with the help of imagination while reading a work of literature. So why did John Keats wrote this poem, or he wrote this poem? Now try to understand. You know that John Keats, he was a great lover of Greek art, literature, and culture. Do you know, when John Keats was just 12, so he read a poem written by Chapman. Chapman is the name of the writer. The name of that poem is that poem was written by Chapman, and Chapman translated that poem into English. So when at the age of 12, John Keats, he read Chapman's poem on Homer. So John Keats' love for Greek art, literature, and culture was awakened. And then John Keats became a great lover of Greek art, literature, and culture, and he started taking interest in Greek art, literature, and culture. So it was only Chapman's poem which influenced John Keats a lot, and then John Keats, he became a lover of Greek art, literature, and culture. And that's why he talks about this thing through this poem on first looking into Chapman's Homer. So he talks about the transformative power of literature, the influencing power of literature. This is the first stanza, which contains 8-line octave. So what does he talk about in the first stanza? He talks about his reading of Chapman's Homer. Now he also talks about the transformative power of literature. What does he say? Now try to understand. Much have I traveled in the realms of gold, and many goodly states and kingdoms seen. Round many western islands have I been, which bards in fealty to Apollo hold. Fealty means loyal, bards means poet. Now, what does he wants to say? In the first 4 lines, John Keats, he is talking about the states and kingdoms, the area he has visited while reading books of literature, because he's talking about the transformative power of literature, that while reading a work of literature, a poem, novel, or drama, a reader also gets transferred in the word which he is reading. So that's why he says that through reading, he has traveled in the realms of gold. In the realms of gold means area of treasure. Area of a treasure. He wants to say that with the help of literature, he has traveled many area, he has traveled many places which are full of gold, means where there's a lot of gold or where there's a lot of treasure. With the help of literature, he has also traveled, he has also visited many states and many kingdoms. He has visited many states and kingdoms with the help of literature, with the help of imagination. He has also visited many islands situated in the west. Round many western islands have I been. Means he has visited many islands in the west also with the help of literature, with the help of imagination. And he says that in these islands, the poets, they are very loyal to Apollo god. Apollo is the name of the god. So what does he wants to say through the 4 lines? Don't go literal, try to understand the sense. So through 4 lines, first 4 lines, John Keats says that with the help of literature, he has traveled many states, many kingdoms, many islands. Now, what does he say through the next 4 lines? Oft of one wide expense means area, had I been told, that deep-browed Homer ruled as his domain. Yet did I never breathe its pure serene, till I heard Chapman speak out loud and bold. Means, he says, oft of one wide expense means area, kingdom. Had I been told, the deep-browed means genius Homer ruled as his domain. Domain means area as kingdom. John Keats says that he has often heard about Homer. He had often heard about the great genius Greek poet Homer. कि मैंने होमर के बारे में बहुत सुना था. John Keats says that he had often heard about the great Greek genius poet Homer. But he says that he never knew Homer. Yet did I never breathe its pure serene. Serene stands for calmness, beauty. But he says that he often heard about the great Greek poet Homer, but he didn't experience it. But yet I did never breathe its pure serene. Means he never experienced it. Though he heard a lot about the great Greek poet Homer, but he didn't experience it. He didn't know a lot about Homer. He didn't know. But he says that he started knowing, he came to know about Homer. He came to know about Greek literature, Greek art, when he read Chapman's poem. Till I heard Chapman speak out loud and bold. He says that he came to know about Homer's word. He came to know about Greek's art when he read Chapman's poem. So that's the meaning of these 4 lines. Now, what does he says? What does he convey through the last 6 lines? Now, he says that when he read Chapman's poem, so he was surprised. He was surprised to find such an excellent word of Greek art and literature. And that's why he conveys his feeling of surprise by giving some examples. Then felt I like some watcher of the sky when a new planet swims into his ken, or like stout Cortez when with eagle eyes he stared at the Pacific, and all his men looked at each other with a wild surmise. Silent, upon a peak in Darien. Now try to understand. Now he compares, he conveys his sense of surprise by giving example. He compares his sense of surprise to an astronomer, some watcher of the sky. Some watcher of the sky stands for the astronomer. So he compares his surprise to that of an astronomer who find a new planet in the sky. So when an astronomer looks at the sky and he discovers a new planet, so he is surprised. So John Keats says that he felt the same feeling of surprise as is felt by an astronomer on finding a new planet in the sky. Then he compares his feeling of surprise to a powerful explorer, Cortes. Cortes was a Spanish explorer. So he conveys his sense of surprise by comparing it to the Spanish explorer Cortes, who also felt surprise with all his men. And all his men looked at each other with a wild surmise. Surmise means surprise. So he compares his sense of surprise to the sense of surprise which was felt by Cortes and his men when they were standing silent upon a peak in Darien. When they were standing upon a peak in Darien, Panama, and they looked at the Pacific Ocean. When they looked at the Pacific Ocean for the first time, so they were also surprised to see the Pacific Ocean for the first time. So through the last 6 lines, John Keats, he conveys his sense of surprise by comparing it to that of an astronomer who gets surprised when finding or to the famous explorer Cortes upon a peak in Darien, Panama, and they saw the Pacific Ocean for the first time. They discovered the Pacific Ocean for the first time. They came across the Pacific Ocean first time. So that's your point on first looking into Chapman's Homer. And through this poem, John Keats, he narrates his experience that how did his love for Greek art, literature, and culture develop. So it was by reading of Chapman's Homer at the age of 12 that his interest in Greek art, literature, and culture was developed. And through this poem, John Keats, he also talks about a universal experience of reading literature, that by reading literature, a person travels the world which he or she is reading. So that's your point on looking into Chapman's Homer. So I think you will be able to understand this poem.